jazz wasn't. You go in a jazz club or a jazz bar, it'll be like a piano player. Well, they might have. I'm saying that they didn't have a complete band, a complete quartet or quintet or whatever. It wasn't a place like that. Like at Odom Cave, they would go there and sit in. You know, Kenny Cox, Frank Morello, Roy Brooks, the people in that area. That's where we played jazz. There was a very few jazz followers in those days.
Who will watch the watcher? The old phrase goes.
Who will watch the watcher?
Yeah, because a person's got to watch over people, but who's gonna watch over the guy who watches over people?
Right. Yeah, there was a song that "Someone to Watch Over Me." Nancy Wilson did that. She used to sing that to me all the time. Yeah.
So Nancy Wilson, you broke her. That sounds like you hurt her. You broke her record.
Well, I got her introduced to
you. Didn't break her heart.
Yeah, I got her introduced.
Or her body. Or
yeah, Nancy.
Lee Canady is a cool cat, a worthy man even, a gallant combatant, if you will, a conqueror if you feel so inclined, a hero if I may be so bold. Please welcome the legendary Lee Canady. How you doing today, sir?
How you doing, man?
Doing fine. Well, today we're going to talk about someone whose career you kicked off. One of the many Wouldn't Be Without Lee stories we've covered in this anthology of your life, the legendary Lee Canady, which you are. Bill Sharpley, or you might know him better as LeBaron Taylor.
Right, Bill Sharpley?
That's his real name. Bill Sharpley, yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. And I
Bill
have this,
Sharpley.
Bill Sharpley. From the Wikipedia page of Hollywood Western director John Ford, his evocative use of the territory for his westerns has defined the images of the American West so powerfully that Orson Welles once said that other filmmakers refused to shoot in the region out of fear of plagiarism. Monument Valley was a location here in America that this director, legendary director John Ford of many westerns you may have seen.
Western, right.
He used this location over and over again. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest directors in his own right, Orson Welles. Mm-hmm. He's like he owns that location now. I bring that up to say, just like John Ford took Monument Valley, this sort of like a flatlands, plains, and deserts out in the American West with all these, kind of out of nowhere jutting, almost widowed canyons, like he took that and made it the image that you think of with the American West. And thus and so, no one dares cover the Motown sound in the present day. Yet Motown songs are played on the soundtracks of countless films and TV shows. So in other words, no one can copy the sound, yet everyone still loves and cherishes the sound. Why can't anyone recreate the feel and the sound of Motown in the present age? Time now for Listen In with Lee. My name is Ryan Ellis, and I am pleased and honored to be joined with the legendary Lee Canady. How you doing today, sir?
How you doing, man?
Doing fine. Now, I should have warned you in advance, but I gave you the lyrics at your request earlier for a song by Charlie Parker that he covered, an instrumental version at least, called Old Folks. And over there, if you croon your neck on the computer screen, that's the cover of the album it was from. And today, we're going to listen to take 1, take 3, take 8, and take 9 when he first recorded this song decades and decades ago. And you feel free to talk over it, say what you like, and then after it's done, maybe we can talk some more about it, and we'll go from there.
so I'll face the final curtain, my friend. I said it clear, state my case, of which I'm certain. I lived a life that's full. I travel each every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way.
Hello, this is Ryan Ellis, and today is another installment of Indubitably Edible Lee. And today we have some Kufk, some KFC, and some, I don't know what the nickname, Subway. Some Subway, the champ. Probably cold by now, but I got a champ for you and a champ for me. Hello everyone, this is Ryan Ellis, and I am honored, pleased, and so many superlatives that the stack of them would reach from here to the moon to be joined with the legendary Lee Canady. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, Ryan.
And today we have another wonderful, another legendary, another awesome segment of Listen In with Lee, where I'm going to play a song, see if you recognize it, and then we can talk about it. And it'll give me a great excuse to finish up polishing up the marginalia of my notes before we do our next segment.
Okay.
Here it goes.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
We're having fun today. We're cooking.
Yeah.
Great
But
stories.
Now,
Great stories.
now, when you talk about rock and roll, the singers at Motown, I can't do that. I know who the Temptations are, but I don't know the words to the song. I can't think of. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't into that kind of music, but I danced with it with the girls. You know, yeah, I'm older than the girls shaking the but yeah, I want to be out there. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Lee Morgan was murdered by his wife. Why am I laughing? It was a sad thing. Murder is bad.
Yeah, it was real sad when it happened.
And Lee, you looked like Lee Morgan. You had the same Corvardis haircut, the same boots. Wayne Shorter was the other guy on the same label. Joe Battle was on it too. That is when Wayne Shorter was on the scene. Then Art Blakey came out with an album with Wayne Shorter, Lee Morgan on tenor sax, Cedar Walton on piano. Then that band broke up, and Art Blakey had a new group with him on tour every tour. Freddie Hubbard replaced Lee Morgan in the band after Lee Morgan got killed.
Right, sure did. Yeah. Well, see, when that album came out, it wasn't many jazz people out at the time, just beginning to change. That's why, like Miles Davis, Charlie Parker did an album, and they mess up a tune, and they cut one, cut two. So they was reissuing those things like that. Now you can get cut three, cut four. This Charlie Parker, he's dead now, and then you can hardly get anything in the catalog. But like I told you, the catalog was about.
This is the Swan catalog.
Swan catalog. It's maybe just a little bit thicker than this, but it's a little longer.
Nancy Wilson put out 3 albums. We just played one of her when Cannonball broke her.
Yeah.
When you broke her through Cannonball.
Right.
Played one of her records. Someday We'll Be Together. Nancy Wilson put out 3 albums. She saw and recognized and acknowledged Lee for his contribution. Sine qua non, could not do without contribution to her career. Lee and Nancy always kissed. You know, almost like in Europe, you kiss on the cheeks, you know, like a term of affection. But she would kiss Lee on the lips.
Right.
Lee felt like $1 million. I mean, this beauty queen, this star that you made her career. Lee was out with his 4th and final wife, with whom he had his final daughter, who sadly passed away. I'm very sorry. Nancy did not know that Lee was coming to the show. Lee got to the show, and the people at the venue didn't recognize Lee and hassled Lee. But Lee eventually got in, and it was in Cleveland, Ohio, at a white club. There were not black clubs back then like that. It was very, very hot inside the club, probably muggy too, I'd assume, from all the sweat in the bodies. The record label guy paid for Lee, Tom Gilardi. He was a white man, a promotional man at Capitol Records. He paid for Lee to go out there. Florence Kewell's niece went to Wayne State and hung around with people, with black people. Unusual back then. She was a Jewish lady. Jazz people had soul and were black and therefore could improvise like shooby-dooby-doo. White people had to take classes to be able to play with soul back then. Lester McCann was humming through his mouth and could play what he was humming. Les McCann was bad, the good sort of bad, like that. Slam Stewart, the bass player, was really talented too. So if you want to say anything to that, this is...
Yeah, that's good.
So, I love that story. You saw Nancy Wilson over in Cleveland, Ohio, and Tom Gilardi paid for you to drive out there?
Well, the record company wanted me to go, because and they paid for everything.
Man.
And so I was with, I had just started going with...
Your fourth final wife?
No, my third wife.
Your third wife, okay.
I just started dating her, and so I'd taken her, and I just meditated. I had a new car, and I was, I went there, and I had a Corvair. A Corvair.
My only guest today does not need an effusive introduction, but I would like to give him one anyway, because I am an unabashed fan of Lee Canady, the legendary Lee Canady. Pleased and honored.
I'm honored to be with you, man. You make me feel like you make me feel real good, very special, man.
You're worth...
But it's the truth, but you put it out there. And the truth that what we're trying to bring out is the way it was.
So there is a true story from your legendary life that I love. We've talked about, but you like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. You think back later and you get new details. It happens to anybody, you included, right. Me included. Miles Davis plays for Lovers. We'll talk about that one day. Mm-hmm. Wayne Shorter sadly just passed away.
Yeah.
Miles walked in and scared Lee.
Yeah.
Miles was shadowboxing in the cafe and was intimidating. It should be said Miles Davis played 10 days at the Minor Key when the Minor Key first opened up.
Right.
This is the Minor Key when it first opened up, 10 days to help him start, the first cafe in Michigan. And you were there when it first opened. Like the 20 Grand with the Temptations and the Supremes, the first Motown show, the first cafe in Michigan. Miles Davis there to help open it up. You're there as well, of course. Miles Davis walks into the Minor Key and scared Lee. Miles was shadowboxing in the cafe and was intimidating. Herbie Hancock was on piano. Tony Williams, at 21, was on drums. Wayne Shorter was on tenor sax. Lee met Wayne Shorter. Wayne was 79 when he died, sadly. Lee texted Bill, Mr. Detroit. Here, I'll put a picture of him here. I've met him before. He's amazing.
You guys
many times. In fact, here's a picture. My favorite pictures of him that I have are of him and my late pal Roy Rollins. You can see a documentary on his life right there. Mr. Detroit told Lee, Bill, Mr. Detroit, I don't know how well you knew this next person, but I can tell you this. He was wanted for just about everything in the book. Actually, I don't know. Hello, folks at home. My name is Ryan Ellis, and I'm here with Lee Canady. How you doing?
Ryan. How you doing, man?
Doing fine. And today we have another edition of Listen In with Lee, where I play some wonderful, timeless, all-time classic jazz tracks, and Lee, without knowing what I'm going to play beforehand, just by his ear training from being the jazz man himself for so many years, he sold these self-same artists, Lee is going to identify what artists these are, and perhaps even what musicians are playing on these tracks. He's pretty good at it too. So let's see how he does this time around on Listen In with Lee.
Okay.
You know, because I always noticed you watch the late night shows like Johnny Carson, Jack Parr, Steve Allen, so on. They have they might wear like a mic on their tie. They have like the person with the boom mic, but then they always have the desk mic, and I'm like, that's kind of how I treat that. That's like your desk mic. That's like the secondary if they turn, you know. So I'm treating you like Johnny Carson, or in my opinion, that. Yes, sir. Yeah. You're the star.
Johnny, I used to watch him every night. I remember when he came on, man.
Yeah, 1962, I believe. 1962 to 1992, 30-year run.
Yeah. Who was before him? Jack Parr?
Yes, sir. He was the one that told the joke. He mentioned the water closet and got kicked off the air by mentioning a bathroom. He didn't even say, he said water closet. And he got kicked off the air.
I didn't know that, but
well, he wasn't kicked off the air. I'm sorry. I should say he kicked himself off the air. Okay. But they pulled the joke, and he's like, "Don't you censor me?" And he's like, "I quit." So then Johnny Carson took over, and as you like to say, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Lee Canady, the renowned music mogul, regarded as Asaph's intellectual successor, conceded defeat in a business venture he made 40 years ago in the Wolverine state when the city of Detroit sent Lee notice of eminent domain on his record store, forcing Lee out within 3 weeks by order of law, thus ending Lee's historic quarter-of-a-century run owning the greatest record store on earth, at the behest of the insurmountable power of the local political class, whose plans for the property ultimately fizzled out, but not before they tore down the building without leaving behind a historic place commemorative plaque or even replacing it with their own proposed shopping mall. With all due respect to Mr. Canady, what on earth were you thinking? No, like, what was the city thinking? You know, did you ever figure out what was behind that? They wanted to put a shopping mall at Lee's Monroe Music in 1984. Right. What was the city thinking?
Well, that's why we have a politician. You know, at the time that the city, Coleman Young, came in front of my store, and the limousine, they got out, and they're going to what they're going to do in their park across the street from me.
If less is more, is nothing all? But if less is more, then more is less, then everything is nothing, so nothing cannot be all. Say, Lee, how much is enough?
What? Compared to what?
I guess it depends, doesn't it?
Right. Compared to what?
Yeah. How much music is enough?
Compared to what?
Listening to music.
Well, see, when you said that, I had to compare why I want this and I want that. Sometimes I listen to Coltrane. Sometimes I want to hear Miles Davis. Sometimes I maybe want to hear vocals. Sometimes I think about my whatever and think about any when you know what?
Yeah.
And you want to hear, like I said, compared to what?
Exactly.
I don't like to compare anything.
We must look to the future, having in mind the facts of the past, and Lee is present with us today to handle both and more beautifully.
Thanks,
Good to
man.
see you, Mr. C.
A pleasure, man.
Always a pleasure on my end.
Yeah.
Get my ears back in. What should I do this?
Beautiful day, man.
Oh my word! In the shade,
Yeah.
it's in the upper 80s right now, but in the shade, it hides that fact. Hopefully, it's lower 70s. I'm hoping. Lee met Johnny Mathis, and Lee has a picture with Johnny Mathis. Sadly, we're not in your museum-like apartment right now. We're near it, in an undisclosed location in Eastern Market. But you met Johnny Mathis.
Yes, he was one of the early first people that we had press parties at the time.
Really?
And he was next to the library on Woodward. It used to be a apartment. It's still there.
Okay.
And they had it over there. So yeah, we met Johnny Mathis. Back.
Let's get a little political here. You've said that you believe that Joe Biden is putting up an act, that he is playing the people for sympathy. When Joe Biden wants to talk, he talks. And you can tell when Joe is shaking hands with a ghost. That's normal. That comes and goes, but it's also an act.
No, well, that's not. He goes through those changes, I believe. That's my belief. I have reason to believe that myself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But I think he acts when they want to ask him a question.
Yeah.
He start like
playing it up.
Right, like feel sorry for me, and then what you said, and take a question, and then he walk out and don't say anything else. That's how he get away with that. Like he start walking real slow, like a dog. When you scold him, he takes her. That's what he does. It's all an act.
Yeah.
And,
so there is a real issue there, but he's playing it up. He's adding on to it.
I don't.
You don't know.
Well, no. That's what I'm fixing to say this.
Yes, sir.
Talking politics, because I'm gonna call ball and strike.
Absolutely.
But the point I'm saying is that it's nothing that Joe Biden could do. Once you lie, you're always a liar.
Stuck in that, yeah.
You know, and so you don't have to lie, but he caught in the lie.
Yeah.
And we know he lied. There's no if and no ands about it.
Yeah.
So if he worked for me, and my company, I would security walk him out of there.
Lightning round question for you. Oldsters rave about the good old days, but I wonder just how good those times were compared to today. I think of Ecclesiastes 7:10. Say not, why were the former days better than these? For it is not from wisdom that you ask this. Were times better in the past in Detroit compared to today? Will Detroit improve in the future, and if so, how?
Well, okay. My point of view of it is this.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and 80s, it was bad for us then. There's always something there to get your attention, okay?
Yeah.
It's bad here now, but we got other reasons. There's always a reason. Bad is bad. Right is right and wrong is wrong. There shouldn't be doing anything that's wrong.
Yeah.
Compared to what? Like I'm better off now than I was then because I don't have to do anything for nothing.
Yeah.
Compared to what? You understand? I made a lot of money back then. Now I don't need money. Compared to what? So I'm living, I'm enjoying life the best of my ability.
After reading about C.L. Franklin's personal life, man, I just can't escape these bells. So I hope the people watching are not annoyed by the ringing of bells. I hope they think they're
part of
pretty.
Detroit. That's the way it is.
Cinema verite. A mighty fortress is our God. So across from us right now on Gratiot is a Lutheran church, and Martin Luther famously wrote this hymn about 500 years ago, a little less than 500 years ago.
But I don't know, I'm not in the church.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I'm not going in, I don't have no reason to go in.
Yeah.
So it's out of my thing, like, that was a snake. You said, this nice steak, man. I don't care. I'm not gonna eat it.
Yeah.
So I just respect it.
Yeah.
And I try to do my life that way, Ryan. I don't try to tell nobody, as long as you don't interfere with me. They have a sound to them that I like to hear.
The bells, church bells.
The bell.
Yeah.
But it's not that a religion person. I just like what they're
aesthetically.
doing.
Yeah.
I like to wake up and hear them because I've been out here since '99.
Lou Rawls. Just call me Lee. Lou Rawls said to Lee one day, I thought your name was Lee. Why are they calling you Robert?
Well, see, that goes back to people that knew me from Arkansas. They want to continue to call you Robert. And things like when I
Because
did,
when you were born, you're Robert Lee Canady.
that's my name.
But you wanted to go by Lee after a
No,
certain
I
point.
didn't just want to go by me. I said when I came here, I was working at a Joe Cow department store.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And say that story for the people watching.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say it again, but
Yeah.
and we had a PA system. My job was maintainers. I did the floors,
Yeah.
did the layaways.
Yeah.
When they needed a layaway, it was in the basement. They would call me on a PA system because I might be up front. I might be doing anything up front. And I had to go back to the back desk to pick up the card to go get the layaway for them. When they called me Robert, my manager name was Robert. But everybody called him Bob. But he still respond, automatically.
Just by habit, because that's also his name.
And
is
so
Robert.
when they called me, we both responded.
Yeah.
So when an employee there, she said, "I got to do something about this." So we call you Lee. You just okay? Because we want to call you something else.
Little segment probably. We can be done after this, because this is crazy to say, but I have 13 pages of notes, and I think I basically went through all 13 pages.
Well, it's good. Long we're
Yeah.
making.
I mean, we covered.
well,
Look at all the ground we covered.
Yeah, the stuff we're talking about. Like I said, I'm trying to stay out of the politics. I don't want to offend nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I let people know they know how I feel.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And but that's what I try to do,
Yeah.
But and I think it's coming out fine, man.
Oh, I agree. So I'm gonna do two more things.
Okay. Yeah.
One is a promotional for the legendary Lee Canady, and then, as always, leave the folks at home with a piece of wisdom. So here's the promotional, for better or worse. Why care about Lee Canady? Check.
1, 2, 1, 2.
All right,
3.
so Lee is track 1 SM7B, Ryan is track 4 SM7B, and then the extra mic is track 3 on Lee's left stage right or Lee's right it'd be stage left. What is stage anymore? Stage left. And you remember what stage? You remember stage right, stage left?
I remember. I don't know which is first.
Yeah, like I think stage is like the way you see it from the audience, or the way you see it from the stage. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know it was anything. I just thought it just was a saying that the guy he left stage right, and he might say stage left.
Oh no, it's a specific side of the stage. Just like you got the bow and the stern of a boat. You have stage right and stage left, and it's I forget if it's from when you're standing on stage, the left side, the right side, or from when you're standing in the audience, the left side, the right side. Because the reason why they say is it's always the same side. It's like an easy macro to refer to that. So I have here Mr. Canady. The Pivot questionnaire, yes.
Yeah.
The famous Bernard Pivot from a French series. The 10 questions originally came from a French series called Bouillon de Culture. I'm probably mispronouncing because it's French, hosted by Bernard Pivot. They're better known as the questions that James Lipton asks every guest at the end of Inside the Actor's Studio. So here are 10 questions for you, Mr. C. Number 1, what is your favorite word?
My favorite what?
What is your favorite word?
Damn it, I guess. I don't know.
Had there been no Lee Canady, it would have been necessary to invent him. Say I parroting the words of Tolstoy, parroting the words of Voltaire. So today, Mr. C, I have the distinct honor of debuting some photos of your collage. You had a collage years ago made of just sort of tchotchkes, personal items of your own belongings. You put up on a big board, and here are some pictures of this collage. Now, when we first started recording just over 2.5 years ago, you told me this is exactly what you wanted to do for a documentary, the approach. And I've held off till now, but now is the time. So we're gonna look through some photos. We're gonna talk about them. We can talk about them another day. We're just gonna just the introduction to them for the people at home to see them. So we're gonna see them right now. Like I said, I would have to make it up if I claimed another person like you existed. You're such a one of a kind person. You truly are unique, Mr. C.
Thank you.
And today we're looking at pictures from your board. Now, is that a good? You can see it from there just fine.
Yeah, I see that.
Now, who do we see here in this picture?
Benny King on the left. He's the guy who wrote "I Found the Love." Let's stand by me. Stand by me.
Next up, we have an album that will never die. That is, until we play it for you shortly, because we're going to kill it. No, you're going to love this album after you hear it. In fact, you've probably never heard this album until we play it for you today. And Mr. C here has a little bit of a history with this record. And in fact, the reason why I'm playing it for everyone today is because this very morning, or I guess afternoon, it's been a long day, but a good long day, I was playing just, as we're getting ready, playing in the background this record, and you're like, Ryan, where'd you find that? And so we're gonna play it right now because I want you to find it too. Thank you for helping me find it, because I wouldn't have found this without you, Lee, because you said you recommended it to me. But without any further ado, this is the hottest new group in jazz, Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. Well. Here we find ourselves once again, in Lee Canady's museum-like Detroit apartment. And perhaps one of the last filming sessions we'll have here, because hopefully we might have a different background, we'll just say, in coming time. But we're here to talk about music, because you are the music man, the golden ear of Detroit, of America for that matter. If I mention the Beatles, their name falls flat as a flounder, because their memories become dead as a mackerel. Actually, no, they're probably the biggest band on earth, even though they broke up, 1969, 1970, thereabouts? Decades ago. What's that? About 50 some years ago they broke up, or 60, I forget, 50 or 60 years ago, and yet their name is still on our lips to this day. The Beatles, biggest band in the world. And you had a thing or two to do with the Beatles, Mr. Canady.
Yeah, well, they were so big, man. I tell you, one day, I just thought this. I don't know if I said this before on your show.
Okay, yeah.
But when they came out, Les Keywell and I, Les came up with the idea. He put a sign in our window, said the Beatles will be here tomorrow at Central Time.
What?
And man, we was mobbed. He just,
Not every album that was produced was a hit, and some were downright awful. Was there ever a record so bad that you did not want to break it in two for fear of there being more of it?
No.
We just talked about that. You could hardly have a bad record during such a golden age of great music.
There's somebody for everything. If somebody want to buy it, I'm going to sell it. I'm trying to make money.
Yeah,
I'm in business.
Everybody's going to find a reason to like something. Yeah.
Well, that's on you. I don't care whether you like it or not. I just want to know whether you pay for it or not.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm concerned about. You dig?
Good evening.
Yeah.
Are we going to win? Are we really going to win, Mr. Canady?
Win her?
Life. Are you going to win life?
Every day I'm breathing, I'm winning.
Amen. Taking in breath, pumping out blood.
Every past tense, I've lived it.
Amen.
Tomorrow, we don't know the next second about nobody and nothing.
Have you heard of a place called Fort Leavenworth?
Texas?
Fort Leavenworth in Virginia.
No.
I'm sure there's a Fort something in Texas. You're ringing a bell there with that. No, Fort Leavenworth, I believe it's in Virginia. It might be in Texas.
It might be.
It might be in Texas. So anyways, Fort Leavenworth, either way, no matter what state it's in, it's called Fort Leavenworth. And it's the place, if the U.S. military were to bring back the draft, the selective service, and people were to, as they say, dodge the draft, tear up, burn up, throw away their draft cards, they, if captured by appropriate authorities, would be sent to be detained in Fort Leavenworth, to jail in Fort Leavenworth. You were born in 1934, and we're on the verge possibly of World War III. You were born in 1934, so just before World War II, and you were maybe a little too young for the Korean War, and you're a little too old for the Vietnam War. So the generation that you were born, you never had to face the draft, right? Or am I wrong?
Right.
Because you were just a child during World War II.
Here's what happened.
Okay.
I told you I got married when I was 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I kept going to school, kept working.
Right.
When you get 18 or 19, you have to register to vote, right?
Right.
That's the law.
18, yes, sir.
So when I went to register, and I turned 18, I went to the lady in the elevator on the second floor where she was and told her I wanted to talk to her. I said, I want register, but I just got married.
Right.
My girl was pregnant. I wanted to go to school so I can raise my kid. I hate to have to go to the Army, and I'm scared to fly. But I want to raise my daughter, because that's why I got married. She said,
the first thing we're going to do today, Mr. C, my favorite comedian of all, Norm Macdonald. You said something. I was getting ready today. I'm always doing all kinds of this, that, and the other. And I was listening to some Norm Macdonald as I was writing, because I guess I was doing two things at once. And he said something that reminded me of you, or that you said later today. We're gonna play some Norm Macdonald, because that's one of the popular topics I've noticed to talk about is Norm Macdonald. The people like that. I have a 5 or 6 minute Norm Macdonald played a show in Nebraska, I think. We can listen to because it reminds me of you, and then we'll do some other stuff from there if you don't mind. And I should say to the folks at home, this person here, this legend is this is Lee Canady, the greatest record store owner, in my estimation, of all time. And it's a pleasure to be in your apartment today.
My pleasure, man.
Yes, sir.
I told you about saying the greatest may not be compared to who. You know?
Yeah, you're right. You're up there.
Did, one thing.
Yeah.
But greatest. That's
all right. Well, you know what? I will say Norm Macdonald was the greatest comedian of all. One of the greatest. Oh, okay, fine. I'll say what you say. He's one of the greatest. All right, so we're going to play some Norm Macdonald. Oh, so I am vastly overprepared for our sit down tonight, and I've just got so much goodness to show you. Mm-hmm. I've got something special. I've got something really special. I was doing a lot of research before we got together for this weekly sit down, and just last night, even I had a breakthrough about something. I'm gonna reset my camera. I'm gonna read a little introduction. Right now, some of your neighbors are watching.
Oh.
We got, how many people are watching? 5 people.
Oh.
2 people hit the like button. Oh wait, is my battery dead? Okay. We have 5 people watching. It's crazy. All right, so how do I? You have a genuine audience right now, Lee. You have 5 people watching.
Oh, I'm nervous, man.
Oh, that's just crazy.
I'm just.
That's just crazy. I love it. I will never forget Saturday, June the 5th, 2021, the day I met you, Mr. C. The good Lord knows I've been trying to ever since. No, no, I'll never forget you, Mr. C.
Thanks,
even if I get Alzheimer's, I'll find a way.
Thanks, man.
Lee Canady will never forget the day that he met the greatest poet Detroit ever produced. This man later became Lee's neighbor. Or maybe he already was. I think he later became your neighbor. I'm going to play a song that you played a part in making a hit. And this song was an enormous hit. That's the thing I wanted to tell you. So I'm going to play the song. In fact, I'm going to play a version of this song that you probably heard and not many other people heard. So this is going to be something special. And then I'm going to tell you something you probably already know, but I'll tell it to you anyways, that I just found out yesterday that blew my mind, that makes it even more special that you were part of this moment in history. It's just, it's insane. So I'm going to play a song. You're going to recognize it right away, and we're going to talk about it.
Sure.
As an orchestra conductor, Ray Charles did not know his brass from his oboe until he started playing, that is, because he's blind. You got to hear it, or at least he's got to hear it first. But I've got a song by Ray Charles that's near and dear to your heart. I'm going to play for us right now. Last week, you showed me a picture of the inside of your store, and I really want to see it, to show it to the people, put it on camera, maybe to the people on live. Do you remember where it went? If not, we can show another picture. I want to show some pictures.
Well,
if
I tell you,
okay.
all they do is just go online. I mean, just Google some of these things. You start, there's pictures of everything.
Oh, right here. Here it is. This. You remember you showed this to me last week?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I just want to show
that's just how when I first started. That's the small store, but you asked me how it looked in the beginning. I told you how small it was.
Yes, sir.
And the counter, there's the door, and there's the counter there. But I moved into
this is the door to get in.
Yeah, and there's a window out there, and that's the cash register there. And I told you, Kenny Real sister would come in every day and put a purse right there on the counter and waiting for the bus and blocking the door. I was just talking thing that happened during the day.
Lee Morgan was a genius. He could do almost anything except make a living as a sober musician. Sadly, he passed away very young. I think he was 27 when he passed away, Lee Morgan, or early 30s. He was addicted to heroin, and he joined the Jazz Messengers, got kicked out of it because of it, and then it ended up taking his life. But he had these energetic runs. He was a very frenetic player. He played the trumpet, right?
Yeah.
And you looked like, or a lot of people said that compared you to Lee Morgan, your appearance. Of course, you were around before him, or was he an artist before 1959?
Yeah, he was playing when I started in work. He had albums out, but jazz wasn't big at the time. It's just that he was in New York. He's big in New York.
Yeah.
Nobody was big in Detroit because nobody came to Detroit. Jazz hadn't been in Detroit at the time.
Cannonball Adderley was dark and handsome. When it was dark, he was handsome. No. In fact, Cannonball Adderley should have been born in the Dark Ages because he sure looked awful in the light. When I look at Cannonball Adderley, I immediately see a friendly face of someone that seemed both light-hearted but was also drawing from a deep well. Cannonball strikes me as a friend in need. What were your recollections of the character of the man, Lee? What was he just such a man? I look at pictures of him because you were just talking about how clean he and his brother Nat Adderley look. But what I also see in addition to that is he seems like both a jovial guy, but also he could be deep with you. He could kind of he could run the gamut. Would you say that was true of him? That he was a no?
No, I don't know what I say. He's the same as a person. I met him, and we musician. We talk about that, and we talk about music or something like that. And I don't know how he did after that. You know, when you meet people like that, you don't know the real them anyway. I saw the picture up there.
You know what that is?
Like Coltrane, Miles Davis, something.
I'm gonna hit play. This is a song about as long as I've known you. You sing a lot of songs. You've got the music in you, as they say. I'm gonna hit play, and you're gonna immediately recognize who this is. And I'd love anything you've got to say about this, because this is a song that I've grown to love because you love it so much, and you make it sound so nice. Now let's hear the original. Actually, there's an earlier, which I also downloaded, the actual original version, but this is the most famous version. Might as well be the original version of this song. So here goes something quite special. You're surrounded, Mr. C, by a bevy of legends, fellow legends. Before we move on with talking about fellow legends, you've got a shirt on there that says League of Legends, and I'll point it out, and we've talked about it before, but maybe not in a while. Legendary Lee Canady, it came from one day I came over this same museum-like Detroit apartment, and we filmed, just like we're doing now, and you had on this shirt, and I said, because you always have a reason for everything you do. You're very intentional. I said, what's the purpose of League of Legends? You said, well, I am a legend. And then it's like, well, legendary Lee Canady. They kind of sound like each other, kind of look like each other, almost like Dennis the Dentist. It's
and that's really how this started.
Yeah.